There is yet another iconic song that I believe every guitar player should learn and extract knowledge from. And this song definitely celebrates the all-American roots of guitar playing. So if you love classic rock, when you try to play it, it doesn't quite have that same impact, then going through the ins and outs of this song with me will definitely help you out. The song I'm talking about is Jealous Again by the iconic Southern rock band, the Black Crowes. This is off of their debut album, Shake Your Money Maker, and I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I think every guitar player should learn this song. Reason number 1 is that it's a masterclass in meat and potatoes rock and roll rhythm playing. In my opinion, Rich Robinson is a criminally underrated guitar player. And it's not because he does anything particularly flashy or fancy when he plays. He's just got that thing, that mojo, and it really shows up when he's playing his rhythm parts. So I'm going to demonstrate to you the rhythm parts of this song, and if you want to follow along with me, tune your low and high E strings down to Ds. So if you don't happen to have a tuner handy, which, I mean, you should, just use the middle D string here to get those E strings down to D. And then you can leave the rest of the strings alone. So starting with that intro, a lot of this is going to be just barring a few strings with the first finger. So this is very Keith Richards style, which is awesome. Makes it even easier, you know. So you're going to be using your first finger for a lot of this stuff. And with that intro, you know, so what's happening is that first finger is really driving a lot of this, right? So on the 7th fret, you're going to be barring the D and the G strings, and then B string 2. And then what's happening next, you're going to bar the D and the G string on the 9th fret here, and then 7th fret with first finger. And he's kind of doing this swingy rhythm thing in the picking hand. You know, it's a little busy, you know, in the beginning. And then the very Keith Richards move right there. We do this fun little triad thing where we're barring on the 7th fret the D, G, and B strings, and then while we still bar them, we're going to now add our 3rd finger to the 9th fret of the D string, and then our 2nd finger to the 8th fret of the B string. This really cool 1 and 4 kind of thing. Something that you've definitely heard before, you know? Then he repeats that again with a little bit of embellishment. Then after that free-flowing, swingy kind of intro riff, then the band kicks in, and it's this killer, just like straight classic rock rhythm, you know? The kind of thing that just makes you stomp your foot while you're playing, you know? And this is what I mean by that kind of meat and potatoes rhythm playing. This is just really simplistic, but man, it drives, it's got mojo, you know? And you think about that rhythm like bonk, 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 just that constant driving rhythm. And the verse pretty much just hangs on that 1 chord. So this is in the key of D, if you haven't already noticed, since we're having to tune a few strings to D anyway, right? So that we're just on that 1 chord for the verse, right? And what's happening here is Rich is mostly barring just the D and the G string here. And then when he's going over for that part right there, it's not the full triad, at least not from what I can hear. It's just this kind of, just this top part here. So you're using your 3rd finger and you're playing the 9th fret of the D string while your first finger is still barring and holding down that 7th fret of the G string. Right? But then he does that little at the end just to give it some movements. And then when we get to the chorus, we're going to start moving through a full chord progression, but it's still going to be done really simply. The way I've seen Rich do this is he just keeps his first finger and he just bars essentially the 5th and octave. So it's almost like a power chord of the chords in the progression, right? And then he keeps this, you know, these fingers here available to do that 1 and 4 thing, right? So it starts on the, when it kicks off the chorus, right? So we have the, we're barring the 7th fret on D, G, and B. We're doing that triad again here, right? And then from here, we're going to focus mainly on the D and the G strings, going from the 7th fret down to the 5th fret. us again. Then back up to the 7th fret. So we go from the 1 chord to the flat 7, back to 1, and we're just keeping our first finger the same the whole time, right? Then we go to the 6 minor. This is implying a B minor chord here, which is a 6 minor in the key of D major, right? But he's just playing that 5th and octave, and it implies it just enough, right? So it's just bringing it down to the 4th fret of those same strings. Then we go back up to the 1 chord, the 7th fret, and then we go, now it's implying a G chord, which is the 4 chord, but we're just going to be playing those strings open. So D and G open, and then we do kind of that same thing, only we're doing it here. And from what I can hear, Rich is just doing, mostly you want to hear that D string, right? So he's just going 2nd fret on the D string to open. But if you wanted to go full triad, you can go include your first finger on that 1st fret of the B string there. So you can do that. And I mean, just looping that chorus alone, honestly, I can do that all day long. It's so much fun. It's real simple, and it's really in that rhythm, right? It's especially in that picking hand. You want to keep that like... There's all these pushes, right? It goes ahead of the beat a little bit. So if you want to practice this to your metronome, your goal tempo is going to be 115. You don't have to start there. You can start slower, like at like 90 beats per minute or something, and then work your way up. But at 115, which is this tempo, I'm just going to play the chorus riff. It'll sound like this. Yeah, man. This kind of playing really teaches you to sit in the groove. Whether you're playing by yourself or with a band, you're actually doing a lot of leading with this kind of rhythm playing because it's this constant driving force. I mean, what would this song be without it? I don't even want to think about that. Reason number 2 why I think every guitar player should learn this song is that it demonstrates lead guitar parts that are catchy and that stick. The lead guitar parts of this song are not complex, they're not shreddy, but they're memorable. You can pretty much sing every lead guitar part in this song. So there's a post-chorus part that just goes from the flat 7 to the 4. So it's just the C and the G chord and just goes back and forth between those two. And there's these really simple but really catchy lead parts that are happening. First of which, you know, in this lower octave, so instead of playing like C chord, you know, G chord, it's going... playing these individual notes that imply the chord just fine, but they just sound great, you know? So if you just like hammer on with your 2nd finger to the 2nd fret of the D string, and then 1st finger, you hit that 1st fret of the B string, there you go. You're implying that C chord. And if you wanted to play this an octave up so it feels more like a lead part, right? So what we're doing here, and remember, we've tuned our high E to a D now, so we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. We're going to be playing notes like 2 frets up, right, to match the pitch that we're going for. So you slide up to the 9th fret of the G string, and then you grab the 10th fret of the high D string, right? You can use your pinky, actually. That's more comfortable, I think. And then to imply that G chord, we're going to do 9th fret of the D string and 8th fret of the B string. Same as this. Really, really simple, but like, man, it sounds awesome. And in the bridge of the song, Rich plays this part. It just loops that for a while before Chris comes in and starts singing. So this is where it's especially important to have that high E string tuned to D so you can get the full effect of this lick, right? So we're sliding up to the 7th fret of the B string while playing the open high D string, right? And then bringing it down to the 5th fret to the 3rd fret. And I recommend doing it like this. Sliding up and then bringing it down so you're not going. I think it's easier if you go, it flows better anyway. If you bring that 3rd finger down to the 5th fret and then use your 1st finger to play the 3rd fret. And it goes back into that kind of swingy, busy rhythm part, you know? So you want to alternate pick it, right? You're just picking the top 2 strings here. And then, of course, once it builds back in, it goes right back into the chorus. Reason number 3 why I think guitar players should learn this song is it's a classic example in straight rock rhythm. Now, this harkens back to the main groove of the song when the whole band is in, right? And it's this kind of bunka, 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 bunk. So it's not a swing. There are certain parts where Rich is doing some like kind of swingy, kind of, like I said, busy rhythms. But generally it's when, you know, everyone cuts out and it's just him, like in the intro and in the bridge. But when it's the whole band, there's a that 4 to the floor kind of thing, right? So it's a great example of groove with a straight rhythm as opposed to a shuffle rhythm. So for example, I'll play the main riff as it is, straight rhythm, and then I'll play it in a shuffle rhythm just so you can hear the difference. Here we go. Here's shuffle. Back to straight. Totally different feel, right? Same exact riff, completely different feel. So as a guitar player, you want to be able to do both. So if you find yourself gravitating towards playing more shuffle rhythms, this is a song that'll really get you on that straight and narrow path when it comes to groove. Not to mention being comfortable soloing over a straight rhythm and a shuffle rhythm is also a very important skill for guitar players. So when you're spending time listening to this song, you got your guitar in your hands, just play over it. Just play little licks, maybe in D major pentatonic or something. And just see how that straight rhythm invokes different kinds of licks than if you were to play it over a shuffle. And speaking of soloing, reason number 4 why I think every guitar player should learn this song is it shows you some killer major pentatonic licks. Now at the very end of the song, up until it starts fading out, it's going back to that part where it's just flat 7, 4. So just back and forth from C and G. And so what's actually happening here is the soloing is going to be in G major, since we've kind of moved away from the tonal center of D major, right? And so you get these really cool licks in 2 octaves, you know, starting from low octave. You know, kind of country sounding. And then they do it an octave up. So this is basically G major pentatonic, right? So to do this first lick, it's just this fun, repeated, simple lick where we're hammering onto the 2nd fret of the D string and then playing the G string open. And then we're going to do a bend from the 2nd fret to the pitch of the 4th fret, right? And then we're going to grab the 3rd fret. It's not easy. If you don't want to do that bend, you can slide up to the 4th fret of the G string and then catch that 3rd fret of the B string. And then slide down to the 2nd fret and then pull off to open. And then 2nd fret of the D string and then open G. So you can do the same lick, whether you bend it or slide it, it's going to have the same impact. And then we bring it up an octave over to this position, an octave up, right? So we do that hammer off, we're doing that same lick. You're going to bar the 12th fret of the D and the G strings, and then hammer on the 14th fret of the D string. And just repeat it. And then we do a bend, or if you want to slide, you know, on the 14th fret, you either bend up a whole step, and then you catch that 15th fret on the B string for that oblique bend, or you can slide. It's not exactly the same, the octave up, but it's pretty similar. It's just, they're just vibing out and just rocking it at the end, you know? But then there's this other really cool, like, this is actually going to be a fun little stretch. This is pretty much when the song starts fading out. So what's happening here, if you hold your first finger to the 12th fret of the B string, reach over with your pinky, this is going to be a great stretching exercise, to the 17th fret, right? And then you pull off. And then you bring it on over to the 15th fret and pull off. It helps to sing it to yourself. Na, 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 right? Just to get the vibe. And then there's that oblique bend with your pinky on the 15th fret of the B string, and then your third finger, with the help of your second finger on the 14th fret of the G string, bending up. And then bring it down to the 12th fret of the G string, and then 14 on D. And then pretty much repeat that lick until the song fades out completely. And if you wanted to do it an octave down just for fun, you can do that, and actually you don't have to stretch so much, right? You can just like bounce off to the open B string. You know, so, I mean, that's not in the song, but it's the same lick, just an octave down. So especially if, like, let's say you're an acoustic player and you don't have access to those upper frets, you can totally do the same lick an octave lower. You know, these are the kind of lessons that most players never get, where we really get to analyze a song. It's not just about learning the song note for note, but it's about really understanding the song and the structure, and just extracting as much information from it as possible that'll actually improve you as a guitar player beyond just being able to play the song. And that's exactly what we do in the Guitar Mastery Method VIP Club. We go even deeper than this, and we break this stuff down from the inside out. How the rhythm really works, how great guitar solos are built, why certain grooves just hit you in the chest, and how to make your own playing do that too. So if breaking down songs like this speaks to you, and if you're tired of just running the same drills, practicing scales and exercises, and you feel like something's missing in your guitar playing, well, the VIP Club will really fill in those gaps. Not to mention, it's the best and most supportive guitar community on the planet. All of our members are passionate guitar players just like yourself, and we all love to build each other up and cheer each other on as we go through our guitar journeys together. So check it out. I think you'll like it.